Okay, today we're going to show you two ways that a business owner should spend about 15 minutes a week looking at some reports in order to discover quite a bit of information about how their business is running, which will let them manage their business a lot more efficiently. The first way is kind of old school. It's basically using memorized reports. And if you look, we go to the menu bar, we click on reports, click on memorized reports, go to the memorized report list, and you'll see it. I call it 15-minute management reports because that's exactly what we're doing. And we're looking at five things. We're going to look at cash balances by looking at this, these first three reports: bank balances, deposit, check, what's selling, who's buying, whether we're making some money, who owes us money, and who we owe. So let's start. First thing we do is we click, and you can see it. Basically, I've set this up so we memorize the report that says show me today's bank balance, and it's simple. It shows me exactly what I have in the bank today. Now, of course, that's predicated on the idea that the bank is accurate, so we'll look at that one at another time. By the way, we're going to be launching a series of courses that we're calling Profit Guru Academy, and the first series that's going to come out in September has to do strictly with working with QuickBooks. And if you want to learn more about it, go look at those series. We're purposely making them very much low cost. We expect also to have them offered as a special issue for the magazine at some point in the future when we make them so they work for the magazine. Um, Second thing you probably ought to look at is you can easily click here and see the deposits for whatever time period. I got it set for month to date, but you could easily go up here, click, and make it this week. All right. So that's simple. You want to see what's there. You can go to check detail. That's important to see what checks were written. Yeah, hopefully you do them, but this is particularly important if the owner is not the one that does it. See, you can easily click. Notice how it turns into the cursor turns into a zoom. And when you do your double click, it takes you straight to the check so you can see what that was to refresh your memory. Now we move to sales. First thing we want to see is who's buying from us, and this can be set for any time period. We can actually again double click and see straightforward what they bought. This goes straight to the invoice, so I can see exactly what's there. Um, we want to see what items they're selling. In this particular case, the sample company I'm using is a consulting company. They do accounting consulting, computer consulting, and management consulting. So that's what they set up as their categories, their services. So we can see, 84 hours of accounting, 53 hours of consulting, 51 hours of management, 6 cables, 14 hours of telephone support, percentages, average price, whole 9 yards. A lot of information here. Yours obviously would be different based on what you're selling. Then we start to see whether we're making money. And for that one, we use the profit and loss. The profit and loss, again, this one doesn't have a prior year. So what probably I would do in the first year, because that's just not very useful, is make a percentage of income. And you can see what I've done now is I can see very easily what percentage of income each expense item is and what income item is. So I can see if it matches. This one's kind of handy. So I'm going to get out of here. Profit and loss, I actually saved that one that way. So you can see I can actually save it that way. I can do this year to date. In this particular case, I'm looking, instead of the other one was month to date, this can be year to date. I can make it whatever I want. If I want to see what I did for this quarter, I just go up here and say this fiscal quarter to date. I can see last quarter, I can do whatever I want. So those are saved. The fourth area, obviously, that's the key. Am I making money? If I'm not making money, then we got to fix it. AR aging report summary here, what we're basically doing is we're seeing who owes us and how old it is. I can see this particular customer is pretty old. I can double click on it, see the invoice, and give them a holler. But if it's more than just one, I've actually got a report that we can save called the collection report, and this would list everybody who's past due with a contact name, and you can set it up where it has a telephone number. I don't believe they actually set theirs up where the telephone numbers are there, but see, you could put in the telephone number, fax number, email, and that report would come up with that information, making it very easy to call. Last thing you want to know, who you owe. I mean, it's always funny to me that business owners, we're all the same. We see a bunch of money in the bank and we think of that machine, car, whatever, vacation we want to take. And we don't realize we have a bunch of vendors we need to pay. That's why it's important to have payables. So we want to look here and say out of this cash balance that we saw earlier, we have to pay our vendors. And this tells us, all right. There's another way that came in 2003 originally, but it actually got better in 2010. It's actually worth using. It's called the company snapshot. It's usually right up here. You click on that and notice what it brings up. Pretty cool, pretty visual. Has different sections, three tabs at the top: company, payments, and customers. We're going to look at the company section. And you see right here we got income and expense trends, and I can save it. I can do last year if I want. I can see what's going on. There was no last year. They started in December. So I can put this fiscal year to date again. If I forget what I did, let's say I changed a bunch of these things and I just don't remember what they are, all I got to do is see what it says up here: restore defaults, and it brings everything back to the way it was. So that's kind of handy. Don't forget that. Shows me customers who owe me money. Kind of handy. All right. I can use that. Shows me different account balances, like if I have credit cards and things like that, line of credit, Visa. This one's very handy down here, which is showing me the expense breakdown, so I can get a visual of what my biggest expenses are. Um, this one shows me top customers that bought the most from me. I can do it year to date, the whole 9 yards. I can change it for the month, for the day. I got some limits here, but I got some things I can do. Previous year comparison, again, there wasn't much there. Go up here under payments. I can actually make payments from here pretty easily, and I can see customers who owe me money over here. I can see payment reminders over here. These are bills I need to pay, invoices that are coming up, and the due dates here. That's handy, so I know what's coming up. Um, AR aging by aging period, there wasn't anything here. There's no data for this graph. Not sure why. If yours would have something there. Invoice, well, that's because everything's paid. That's why there's no unpaid. So obviously, for whatever date they did this, it's not very handy. If we change the date, we'd probably be all right. It's done to be due to, it's. I don't think you actually have the ability to change the date. I don't remember seeing that because it's assumed you're live. This is an excellent section. You can what you basically can do here is dig deeper into a customer. So for example, I can take a customer, I change their name here. It shows me a lot, and notice there's more detail. I can actually get quite a bit and come here. But don't really want to go there. Let's go to the company snapshot. But I mean, if I want to get to a customer, I can. I can see everything. But we can go back to the company snapshot and you see what we have here. It tells me how long they've been with me, how long they take to pay, if they owe me money, a sales summary, what they did this year so far, recent invoices. I can see a history by year. I could change that by month so I can see what they buy by month. That's kind of handy. I can see what my best selling services or products are down in this area. What I did, by the way, got to remember to click somewhere else or the mouse thinks you're telling it to do something. These are recent payments you saw. You can turn that into a quick report, print it if you want to. Not a big deal. These are two very strong features. Again, remember, they're the memorized reports where you can set up reports the way you want to see them. And I got some that are preset. They're pretty good, but I tend to like to make my own preset ones that are customized to the company, my own company, or to my client's company. And this is pretty handy. Don't forget this, especially this customer center. Pretty slick little tool. Anyways, until next time, let's make this our most profitable year ever. Thank you very much.